Welcome to the Braddog Media Show with your host, Brady Castor.
Three, two, one. Welcome everybody to the Braddog Media Show. This man has an incredible comeback story. Currently the vice president of Anvo Construction, calling in from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. From homeless to millionaire, please welcome Mr. Anthony Zorzetto.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate you reaching out. I'm happy to come on.
Yeah, me too, man. I was glad we were able to get this figured out. I know you got a lot running up there with Anvo.
Yeah. Between Anvo and training and jiu-jitsu, I got a 2-year-old, and I do speaking engagements. It's if you look at my schedule, it's just all dots of like stuff I got to do. Nothing free.
Oh, I can imagine, man. Yeah, I've been noticing you get into jiu-jitsu, and you're a big fitness guy. How long have you been in jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu just 7 weeks now.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, yeah, definitely. It's always sparked my interest. Mostly I did striking sports like boxing, for example. But jiu-jitsu is just like it's super addictive, and it's very it's like physical chess. So I got into it right away. I know it kind of seems like I've been in it forever because I'm so like passionate about it and stuff, but the journey to the black belt is pretty awesome so far.
Is that the goal? You want to go all the way to black belt?
Yeah, black belt's black belt's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for sure. So I have it set in my mind, so I'll make it happen. It's on average like a 10-year type of thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, those guys, they're in it for life. You don't
like
just hop into. Yeah, you don't get into jiu-jitsu and make it to black belt. It's not like karate. Some other sports, they let you get a black belt within like 3 months. It's not like that at all.
Yeah, no, it's a long haul for sure.
You're a big You're a big Conor McGregor fan, right? I saw you got a recent drawing done of him. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, huge Conor McGregor. Huge fan. I actually didn't like him at first because he was just so cocky. And actually, the people that I used to live with, they hated him for that, and they're very kind of chill people. And so I just kind of just went with it, I guess. And I started to like him once I YouTubed some like Conor McGregor motivation, and these people make compilations of his speeches and his trash talk and just his mental warfare and his mindset. And once I learned about him, like many things, when you learn about it more, you either hate it more or you love it more. And I ended up loving it more. So yeah, huge McGregor fan, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's a guy you love or hate, totally.
Yeah, and he's a character.
Man, he's so funny. Whether you like him or not, though, you pay to tune in and watch him. He's crazy, man.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he brings a crowd in, 100%.
Yeah, speaking of his mental thing, though, like his mental warfare is next level. Like how he gets in people's heads, and his opponents, and the way he speaks things into existence for himself. It's amazing. Have you tried, any of that approach, like with your life?
Definitely, yeah. I'm a big proponent of visualization, law of attraction, manifestation, all that kind of stuff. I slip up every once in a while where I kind of forget to do it. I just kind of like life happens and you just go with the flow. But most of the times I have the reins, and I do a lot of it's like a form of meditation, the visualization. So I follow in his footsteps that way. I think it's a big deal, and I think it works. Like there's plenty of examples that I could say where I've thought about something and I've willed it into existence. Like whether that was going to happen or not, if I didn't, who knows? But I know that there's an awful lot of instances where it's too many times to call it a coincidence, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally, man. If it works.
Yeah.
So you've been in construction, from what I hear, really your whole adult life. What kind of drew you into the construction industry?
My family, mostly, both sides, my grandparents and their grandparents on my mom's side, and exactly the same on my dad's side. Everybody's in it. So I was always drawn to it, but luckily I love it, and luckily I'm good at it. Because I'd hate to be like, my family, whole family's doctors, and then I get into construction, and then I want to please my family, so I turn into a doctor, and then I suck at it. Like that would be a tragedy. So yeah, that they kind of just nourished the seed that was planted in me about construction. I always wanted to make forts and stuff, and as a kid, we would always play guns and war, and that was all fine. But I liked playing building the bunkers more than I liked playing guns and war. So yeah, it was and elaborate forts, like 2-story forts and bunkers, literally underground, and I would create the structure for it and stuff. I loved it. It was awesome.
Wow, man. I bet you built some pretty wild snow forts up there in Canada.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, the snow forts here. There's actually in Edmonton we have like ice palaces where there's competitions. There's ice sculptures. That's obviously it gets to minus. Well, this last winter was we do Celsius, so it was minus. One day it was minus 47, I think. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's like you're dead. Like if you're stuck outside for like 5 minutes, you're dead. If you're not dressed properly. So it gets pretty cold, but we embrace it. We embrace it and build these ice hotels even, and ice rooms and castles and competitions, and we just go out there with Baileys and coffee and have a good time.
Yeah, man, you kind of have to embrace it up there. And
Yep.
so, man, you're growing up, you're getting into construction. From what I gathered, you started doing some work for yourself at a really young age. When did you kind of get that entrepreneurial bug and start doing work for yourself?
That was pretty early. So that was like hockey cards, kind of the typical entrepreneur start. I think I was when my parents were still together, so I would have been 8, well, 8 years old, if I can remember correctly. And then it progressed to like I was okay at that, selling hockey cards and baseball cards. And so up here, baseball cards isn't really as popular as in the States, mostly hockey cards. So I was better at that, Pokemon cards and stuff. Um, but I knew that I was pretty physical guy, so I went right into shoveling snow, mowing lawns. I was just much better at that because I had no problem working 10, 12-hour days. It still doesn't bother me. It's just kind of a normal day for me now. So that's kind of when it started. And then really, I got really serious about it when I was about 20. Yeah, about 20. Started doing side jobs. Actually, even before the college where I got my my Red Seal carpenter. I don't. What's it? Do you know what it's called down there? Is it the same? A journeyman?
That sounds familiar. I'm not super familiar with that space, but that rings a bell.
Okay. Yeah. So up here, anyways, if you're a carpenter, you're a journeyman. You do 4 years in school and in the field, and then you write some tests, and then you're a journeyman carpenter. And then if you become a Red Seal carpenter, that means you're a journeyman carpenter all throughout Canada. You're recognized as a journeyman. So once I did that, I started to, or sorry, let me back up. While I was in college to get my certification, I did side jobs. So building fences, building decks, renovating kitchens, and all that kind of stuff. And I, I was like making way more money doing that than I was working for this like $1 billion company hourly. And it bothered me. I liked the safety of it, but it bothered me to know that I could go build a deck on a weekend, and I would make in the weekend I would make what I would in 2 weeks on a 2-week paycheck here.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, that kind of just planted the seed, and then as I got a little bit older and got more confident in my abilities and just the business side of it, like the sales, actually not totally the business side of it, but the sales aspect of it then I started to get more confident, and then I started to realize I should venture off on my own, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So were you
Yeah.
just kind of raking in the dough at that point?
Yeah, because I was working. Like after I graduated, I was working at the company that I worked for getting paid biweekly, getting overtime. Also, I was a foreman, so I was in charge of like 25 people. Um, I have just a natural born leader type of thing, especially in my industry. And then on the weekends and at night, I would renovate for cash. So I was making my wage plus overtime plus the cash, but I had no life.
Yeah. Oh,
just
doesn't sound
just
like it.
working. No, that's all I did. But I didn't care. Like I really loved it. And back then, I'm still a little bit like this, but back then I really thrived on compliments and good job and attaboy and all that kind of stuff. And that's what the clients were giving me after I gave them or built them a nice deck or something. So that kind of just gave me like encouragement and was my fuel. I didn't gas out, and I didn't think about anything else really, like going to the bars and hockey games and whatever was second to my side jobs. So it was fun. It served a really good purpose, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, from what I hear, even you fished for the compliments and, got more out of that a lot of times than following up on actually getting paid. Was it tough, like
Yeah,
actually collecting money when you were young and, being tough and following up with people?
yeah, it was for me, it's kind of hilarious because I boxed, I played hockey, I played football. Anyone wanted to fight, I would fight them. I'm from a small town here, right next to Edmonton. There's a place called Beaumont, and it was a small town, just kind of, there's no like knives or guns or anything like that. It was just like fist fights. So I was pretty tough physically, and physical confrontation was welcomed. But when I got into the business arena, when it came time to collect, I was just terrible, very novice at negotiations, and I was nice. I was just a nice guy, so people would lie to me or tell me they had some fucking story about their grandma's sick and they got to take care of the grandma, so they couldn't pay me right away because I had to take some of those funds and just all that shit. And I
Man,
listened to it, and it ended up sewering me. It was one of the reasons it sewered me, anyways.
man, yeah, I can relate. Like, I started working with clients a little bit in marketing, like in college. It's tough. And, somebody's twice your age, like trying to tell them like, hey man, you need to pay up. And,
Yeah,
you're just this kid. I mean, it's not easy.
yeah, and you have a bit of imposter syndrome too when you first start out in any industry.
Right.
It's like, especially when you're doing it for yourself, when it's your own business, whether it's consulting or a construction business, lawyer firm, accounting firm, you almost feel like you aren't worthy of getting paid from them yet, because your whole life in elementary, junior high, high school, I don't know what it's called there, middle school, junior high is middle school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
People call it
So
both. Yeah.
okay, so you're taught and groomed to work for somebody mostly. So when you work for
Yep.
yourself, it's like, fuck, this is weird. There's no real playbook for this unless you go to business school, and even then, like, the real world
Oh,
is a little bit different than that.
way different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So man, you start entrepreneurship at such a young age, I mean, geez, you're working like crazy. At what point did the partying kind of start? Was that kind of soon after when you realized you got some cash, or how did that kind of get going?
Well, I always work hard, play hard. I always had that mentality. So, and I never got hungover. It was a
Really?
blessing and a curse. Yeah. Like,
Wow.
honestly, I could drink so much beer, like a flat in a night, and I would literally get up at the latest 7 in the morning, and then I get up for work clear minded. It was bizarre. My friends hated me for it.
Oh, I'm
So
sure.
yeah, I always went hard. I always went hard on the weekends with alcohol. I always went hard and got up and still fulfilled my duties and my responsibilities. Or if I knew it was going to be like a blowout night where it was like my buddy's 20th or 21st or 18th, like here, legal drinking age is 18 in this
lucky.
province. Other provinces is 19. You guys are 21, right?
Yeah, we have to wait till 21,
Yeah,
supposedly.
yeah. That's probably a better idea, to be honest. But yeah, if it was a big event like that, then I would just make sure that I didn't work Sunday. I would just call it a loss and be like, you know what, I'm gonna get fucked up, so I'm not gonna be able to be swinging a hammer or using pneumatic tools or anything like that safely. So I would just take the Sunday off. So I always went hard on the alcohol, like binge style on the weekends, just kind of what everybody did. And then I was introduced to cocaine when I was 20, 22, maybe about that. Yeah, 22. And yeah, second it went up my nose. I always say this. The second it went up my nose, I knew I was in trouble. And it gripped me. I was constantly seeking that's part of my character and my nature, is constantly seeking that next step. And that was the next step. The next logical step was that. So I was about 22 years old, and it started turning into weekends. Just like everybody that kind of gets into it, it's kind of a weekend thing. There's very few people that I know that just like do it once and then they're doing it every single day. That's not really typically how it goes. But I was doing it every weekend, and then it turned into both days on the weekend, like the Friday night and the Saturday night. And then it turned into the Friday night, the Saturday night, and then like Wednesday. And then I would pepper in a Thursday. And then, over the course of a couple years, I went from weekends to 3 days a week to every day.
Man, it's crazy how that works. And it's kind of with anything in life, like, some sort of habit. It's just a slippery slope where, it doesn't go from 0 to 100 real quick, whether it's, a bad diet or, getting off a workout plan or, getting into other, things you shouldn't. It's weird how it works, man. And so it's crazy, you go from working all the time and, off to a really good head start in life and, kind of go on this slope. Like at what point, it might be, I'm sure it's tough to talk about, but at what point was it your lowest, like when did that rock bottom kind of hit?
Well, so I'll back up a little bit and kind of lead up to it. But I left the company I was working for, the $1 billion company, my safe job. I left that, started my own business. And as we touched on a little bit, I had a tough time collecting my cash, and things weren't going well, and I was making rookie mistakes. Definitely had an ego, and I got married young. I got married to the wrong person. It all just started to, the house of cards started to come down. And then me and my wife at the time, we ended up splitting up. I had no money in my bank account. So many people owed me money I couldn't collect, and I started to sell tools just so I could make a payment, but then I needed that tool so that I could work, and I just made all kinds of wrong turns and miscalculations. And before that is when it was the weekend of dabbling in on cocaine and stuff like that. So when she left and everything started falling apart and all that shit, I turned to cocaine, and it made me feel good because it's cocaine. Like it's designed to do that. It's designed to stroke the dopamine and the what's the other one? Endorphins.
Yeah.
And it did just that. So I kind of just confined it in it, and it started to really take its turn. And a friend of mine broke up with his wife about 6 weeks earlier than I did, and he's very successful, and he wanted to kind of forget about her, so he always invited me out, and we went to the bar, and I just stopped caring, and I just it was so stressful to care and to try to make these wrongs right that I just gave up. And yeah, before I knew it, my cell phone got cut off. I couldn't make any payments. My electrical bills started piling up, and they cut my electrical off. Couldn't pay my condo fees when I was in a condo. Couldn't pay my mortgage. Couldn't pay my truck payment. Pretty much any payment I couldn't make, because the only thing that I wanted to make was my cocaine payment to my drug dealer. So I always made sure I had that, and that's all I cared about. So yeah, my lowest would be, a couple scenarios. I remember sitting down on my floor, and the lights were off in my condo, and I was just hopeless. And I was, I'm 205 pounds, 200 pounds, walking around now, healthy. My body fat's very low. I'm energetic. I'm healthy. And, but at that time I was like 150 pounds, 153, I think was the lowest I ever got to. So, if you pick up a 50-pound dumbbell, that's how much money, that's how much weight I lost. It's crazy. It's on my face, and it was bad. So yeah, I was just sitting there and like, what the fuck happened? I'm just looking around like, what the fuck happened to me? I used to be this like guy that people looked up to. My friends always confided in me and motivational advice and career advice and dating advice and workout advice. And I was just a natural born leader. And now I'm just a shell of a man with a broken soul and can't rub two pennies together. So that'd be a low. And then the other, of course, was when I decided that, I'm just going to kill myself. Like, there's no way out. Like, to me, it was being like bricked in to like a room with no doors and no windows. And as if you fell asleep and some masonry guys set up brick walls around you and a brick roof. And then you're like, get out. You have to get out. You have no tools. It's impossible. Like, it seems so impossible. So you just give up. Like, what do you do? And, chemically, if you're coming down every day, the term coming down, like coming down off drugs,
Right.
You're coming down every day. That's a shitty feeling. Like, that is some kind of depression you can't fathom. So the only thing that's going to make it better in your mind that is destroyed chemically is cocaine. You need your medicine, your medicine, which is also the thing that makes it worse. So it sucked. So I'm sitting there in my metaphoric brick house that I can't get out of. So I'm like, I'm just going to kill myself. There's nothing I can do. So I tried it. I set up a day where I was going to drink a whole bottle of whiskey and have some sleeping pills. And I think it was like a half ounce of cocaine, which is like 14 grams, I believe. And like, that should kill a horse. So, yeah, I tried it, and I didn't die. So from there, that would be, during that moment would be the lowest. Yeah. When I woke up, it's funny. Well, it's funny now because I'm fine, but, you'd think something like that would smarten you up, and it didn't. I continued. I'm like, okay, like, I guess I'm Charlie Sheen. I don't know. So I kept going, and but it definitely triggered something in me that, okay, obviously I'm meant to be here. Like, if that didn't kill me, there's something. Right. And for the record, anyone's listening that knows what 14 grams of cocaine is like or looks like, I don't think I know I didn't finish all of it. Like, I'm pretty sure that's humanly impossible. So fact checkers, you know what I mean? But anyhow, I got like a bit of a spark of life, but I kept using, and it wasn't until I met a buddy of mine that I didn't think I could get out of that brick house. I thought it was impossible. So yeah, that would, to answer a long-winded answer to your question, that would be my lowest.
Wow. Thanks for sharing. So during all that time, was nobody really around to help you and, kind of try to keep you from, slipping that far, or what was the
Um,
situation like?
my family is here. My mom was 2 hours away from me, but my everybody else is here. But I kept them at bay, and I've always been like that. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like to share my feelings too well. I didn't care to, and I always wanted everyone to think that I was successful. There was kind of a complex I had.
Mm.
I needed people to think that I was like perfect and tough and smart and all these things. So I just kept everybody at bay, but they kept seeing, they see me on a birthday and on the weekends, supper, family dinner, and then Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatever. And every time they see me, I'm 10 pounds lighter than I was the time before. So they were definitely asking me like, what the fuck is going on with you, man? Like you look like you're like Casper and you're 50 pounds lighter and you look like shit and your teeth are all fucked up and what's up with you? And I just told them, which was the truth. I had colitis, which is like a form of Crohn's. Um, but it was cocaine induced. So it was like a half truth, but you do lose a lot of weight and whatever. So, I just was a bullshit artist. If you want to meet the best liars in the world, talk to an addict. They, we had that skill honed because we needed money for this and that and excuses of why we couldn't make it or whatever. Right. So they just, you know, didn't want to, short of kidnapping me, there's not really much they could do.
Right.
So, and I'm a big proponent of asking for help. Like I say it all the time. Like if like, when you're about to do something you're going to regret, like you have an intuition about you, like anybody. Some are stronger than others, but whatever, you have a feeling. And if you're about to go do something like that, you ask for help. Or if you keep making the same mistake over and over and over and over, thinking that you're going to get a different result, that's fucking crazy. That's literally insanity. So ask for help. If I would have asked for help, I would have avoided, a lot of my hardships. That's a certainty.
Yeah, man. And something that's really tough too, like for people in the family that have a family member that's, um, addicted to drugs or things like that. It's tough for them too. I mean, do you have anything that you think like could have gotten through to you during this time or could help somebody in this situation?
Um, well, for me, I was always a little bit crazy and always very intense is what I mean. Like a 10 out of 10. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all in as hard as I can. And so for guys like me, I'd have to be taken. Like somebody would have to intervene and like literally, like physically, I mean, take me, bring me somewhere and sober me up and, try to get through to me, not only in my head, but in my heart, which is really tough. Like, so if anyone out there is listening and they have a close family member or friend, uh, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that they're doing drugs. You didn't ask for it. But part of loving someone is you have to sacrifice. So if let's say I have a brother. I have four, but let's say one of my brothers gets addicted to something, and I love him enough that I'm gonna intervene. It's to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to intervene. Sorry, my contact's kind of getting fucked up. So what you need to be prepared for is war and battle. Like they may physically hit you, they may verbally accost you, and by may I mean they will they will they're not themselves. This is where the disease of the addiction comes in because it eats your brain, it eats your neural paths. It's you have a physical mental change you need this substance more than you need the love of your brother or your mother or sometimes your kids even. So if you're going to intervene, get ready for war, and just know that they don't mean it. They don't mean what the shitty things they're saying. And if you love that person enough, you're going to put up with it. And obviously stand your ground, all that kind of stuff. But it's a long journey that you didn't ask for. So that if you go through that and you intervene, then that's a lot of love right there. So the best advice I can give is, again, I'll say it again, is get ready for battle, get ready for war, and don't be so harsh on your judgment, because the last thing an addict needs is a judgment. No addict wants to be an addict. That's not real. That's not a thing. But if you're acting like you're better than them, they'll be less likely to reach out to you, and they'll be less likely to tell you the truth. If my brother who's in this hypothetical story I'm telling comes to me and says he's an addict, and I say, like, you're a fucking loser, that it stops right there. Or if he says, I stole something to pay for drugs and I fucked up, and you can listen to that and not judge him, but make sure he has a safe place, you're playing the long game, and the long game is the one that's going to win. So be very patient, but also be very aware of your own feelings and your own boundaries as well. You can take a break from that person. Another, like, a good example is, when you're in an airplane, let's say there's some turbulence, or there's the pressure gets lower, the oxygen masks come, right? And you need to take it first, and then you can help. That's kind of what you have to do when you're working with an addict. You have to make sure you're good, the tool and the vehicle to help this person, because almost no one can do it on their own. That vehicle has to be good, change the oil, make sure everything's good to go, and then help. That's probably the best advice I could give to someone that wants to intervene. And I think that would have worked with me. I'm kind of doing the Rolodex in my family. I got a big family. I'm trying to think of who could have done it, and probably pinpoint a few that could have done it had they known, right? Not blaming them, but if they took that advice that I just told you and implemented it with me, it would probably work.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you sharing. And honestly, I've had family members that have been in bad situations, so that's advice I personally can benefit from. So hopefully people listening can relate as well.
Yeah, I hope so.
So obviously at this point, I mean, you've turned things around in a huge way over time. I mean, what did finally get through to you, and how did that, process of coming back up really start?
Well, through the same kind of brain waves and like physical reactions that the cocaine did. So I'm lucky enough to be in construction. So what I do is tangible and I can see it. So when I perform a task, I can physically see it at the end of the day or end of the hour or whatever. Whereas if you're, an accountant, I don't know anything about that, but let's say you're an accountant and you're dealing with numbers on a paper. I'm sure they have some sort of metric that shows a job is done, but you don't get to physically move your body to build something with your hands that wasn't already there. So I had that going for me. So I had a friend that did just what I said. He grabbed me, brought me to his place, which is actually another friend's place. They were roommates, and was like, you got to stay here, man. Like, there's no way that you can get out of this without me basically holding you in house arrest. So that broke the cycle of my body's need for the drug. So that the habit, or like the chemical, like the chemical need for the cocaine was gone after like 3 to 5 days, I would say. And it's kind of a little blurry because I've kind of divorced that part of my life. But after that, I started to get into construction with him, and we ultimately started a business together that became very successful. But it was through not breaking promises to myself and to him, as well as um, bringing value to the table. So building decks or whatever it may be. That started to switch my brain into the mode of being having a worth attached to my name.
Yeah.
Once that happened, then I started to really snowball into a good way, into success. And I no longer craved the cocaine side of the dopamine and endorphins. I craved the job complete, task done dopamine and endorphins. And
Interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of what kicked it in for me. And that's here in Edmonton, we have there's like a tent city that just started. It's very small, but people ask my take on it because I was homeless and I was addicted to drugs, and they ask my take, and they're often surprised about what I say. It's not just give them food, water, and shelter. You make them work for it. That my theory is this: if you take the homeless population in the city that I'm from, and we drive 2 hours away into a rural area, and you help them, you give them, get the materials donated and the food donated and all that kind of stuff to build a bunch of series of cabins, let's say, and you're building a cabins in and essentially a community that has a congregation, some kind of hall where all the food is, like a mess hall, like in the barracks or something like that. And they grow their own vegetables and they grow their own fruits, and they have cattle, and you butcher your own meat, and everyone has a task, and there's no money that exchanges or anything like that. And they're in a safe environment, and the petty crime rate goes down because the people that are doing the petty crime are only doing it so they can get $30 to get crack or cocaine or heroin or fentanyl or whatever fuck they want, or meth, whatever. So if these people are gone, that, the money that saved prosecuting these people or the policing these people can be put into use in this community. And all these people that are part of a community and part of a tribe are contributing, and they're getting massive amounts of dopamine and endorphins, and they're part of something. And that's the biggest proponent that helped me. And everybody I know that has been through recovery and is recovering and is fine now, they all echo that. It's the same thing. Maybe not the community, but the fact that you need endorphins and dopamine,
dopamine
to make it happen for your body. Your body craves it. So, and of course, you're gonna get just, if you have any populace, you're gonna get people that are not going to get it, or you're going to get people that are bad or whatever. So that's why it would be kind of more of a, not a prison, but a guarded community until they're healthy. And I'm, my big vision would be, help them, train them to interview well, teach them how to make resumes, teach them how to groom themselves, if some people are good with their hands, maybe they can cut people's hair in the community. Teach them, look good, smell good, feel good. Show them how to work out. Teach them yoga. Maybe there's a religion they want to do. Maybe it's Catholicism or Catholic or, whatever. I think this is all really important. And again, of course, you're going to have the bad ones. You can't have 100% success rate, but you'll have damn near that, or even if it's 40% success rate, that's pretty fucking good. And then they can come back into society and be implemented. And some may have to go back because the relapse rate is like 98%. But I think you'd be able to curb that in this community. So I'm not 100% sure how I got there, but I know that we were talking about how to, how I recovered, and it was just being part of the community, which is all right. I got it now. We started a
Oh, you're
business,
good.
and I had to be accountable to him, and he was accountable to me. There's a lot of power in that, and it just blossomed into this like-minded entity, which was our business that we all had to contribute to.
Yeah.
It was just talk about endorphins, like, and dopamine, like building with your hands. And then also like, okay, now I need to hire people. So I'm hiring people, and I'm a leader again, and I'm starting to feel myself again. And my chest is starting to come up, and I'm an inch taller, and I started to feel myself again. And ultimately that, along with many other things, that's probably the biggest thing that saved my life, is being part of something that was bigger than myself.
Man, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing all that. And was that Anvo Construction that was started there?
At the time, it was actually Zorzetto Williams.
Okay.
So my old business partner was Daniel Williams. His name was. So
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Man, and how many years ago was that you started the first construction business?
Well, the first one that failed was 2012. And then when I started with Zorzetto Williams, that was 2015. About
Okay.
that. Yeah. And we were together for 2 years. And then we ended up splitting up because we wanted different things. We wanted to stay smaller. And as I became myself, I became the guy that wanted 10 out of 10 at all times. Like, so I want to, build high rises one day, and I will build high rises one day. And I think just kind of intimidated him. Plus he had and no knock. We all have faults. Obviously I'm one to talk, but because he was such a huge part of saving my life, I had the impression that he owned me, and he was immature in that arena, which is fine. I recognize it, and we went our separate ways, but we're still acquaintances, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. So, what are you mentioned them a little bit. What are your ultimate goals for the company?
Ultimate goals would be definitely building a high rise, over 40 stories type of thing. Our biggest one here is 56 stories, something like that.
Wow.
So I want to be somewhere there, somewhere in that height. Be one of the top 50 best managed companies in Canada, and just employ a lot of good people, and have our name on the side of a building. So not only build one, but own one.
Hey, yeah.
So yeah, like, I always say you only live once, and there's a lot of cliches like you only die once, you live every day and stuff. I understand where that's coming from, but ultimately you're only on this earth one time. So why would you try to settle for mediocrity or anything less? Let's say I don't achieve it and I only build a 20-story, big fucking deal. I pass the torch to my son and he can take over. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. So yeah, that's
yeah, man.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Lofty goals. I love it. Of course, you've always been ambitious, so I'm not surprised. So speaking of your son, I don't remember. I might have seen his age. Is he around 2? Is that correct? Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Man, what's fatherhood been like?
It's the best thing in the whole world. Like, it's incredible. It's like, you're part of this. Like, he's like new. There's no sin there. He's just like this new life that you get to help hone and grow, and you get to see his personality, and it's this sense of duty that nothing else can equate to. It's just it's super cool walking through the door and he runs up to you and hugs you, and it's there's nothing you can really it's kind of inconceivable.
Yeah
man.
I think ahead. I'm probably a couple years away from fatherhood. No kids yet. Man, I
Are you
mean,
married? Are you married
yeah,
or anything like that?
yeah, married over 2 years now. So,
Nice.
you
Right
know,
on.
kids are in the future for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, at your own pace, man. There's a lot of. I got that a lot with my girlfriend. It's like, when's the kid coming, or when's the wedding coming, or when's a, you know what I mean? It's like ultimately, if you guys are on the same page, that's
Yeah,
totally fine, right?
that's the
So
main thing.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. If it was up to her, we maybe have one by now. I'm putting it off a little bit, but
Yeah, I understand. I understand.
So, I mean, geez, when you look at your son, are you nervous at all for him to like go through the challenges of life, or how are you kind of preparing him for, future battles of just life?
I would say like he's only 2 right now,
Yeah,
so but when he's older, I'll get him into sports, get him into jiu-jitsu, hockey, soccer. He seems to really love hockey and soccer, which is nice. My girlfriend's played soccer her whole life. I played hockey my whole life.
nice.
Um, so getting him into these team mentalities and being around other kids, and just also exposing him to being vulnerable. Like you don't, it doesn't serve much of a purpose to shield him from danger. It's better to equip him with the skills and the weaponry to fight the danger and have a
Right.
chance against it, which will ultimately build resilience. And that's, I think, I'm a big proponent of that. So is my girlfriend. So, yeah, and I think about, does the addiction thing get passed down through genetics? And I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not even. It could be a fact. I don't know. I hope it's not. But if it is, and I recognize it, which I will definitely recognize if I see it, we'll hone that and make sure that goes towards a positive look, other than what I did, drugs.
Yeah. Well, I got to think with all of your experiences, that'll only benefit him. I mean, you've, had lows, but also great highs, and you kind of know what each look like and how to go about each one. So I would think that have to be a huge benefit to him growing up.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think my girlfriend takes comfort in it as well, that I'll be able to recognize the signs way earlier than what my family was able to do, because they weren't exposed to it. I think my mom's been drunk one time in her whole life. I've never seen my dad drunk. So I don't think, whatever. What I'm getting at is I'd be able to tell if he was going the wrong way, like at that real pivotal early stage.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. How long have you been together with the girlfriend, or wedding bells coming soon, or what's that looking
Yeah,
like?
we were just talking about that yesterday, actually.
Wow.
4 years now we've
Awesome.
been
Yeah.
together. Yeah, yeah. She and she makes a joke that she bought low, because I just got on my feet when we met.
Wow.
So she was like, it's like buying an Apple stock, like at the IPO stage,
Right.
early. So, yeah, because the first time she went and saw my place, I was living with my friends still on a couch. So she's like, "Where's your bedroom?" I'm like, "You're in it, the living room." So yeah, I'm surprised she stayed with me, but obviously it paid off. So yeah, wedding bells in the future for sure. But my son was a surprise, so we did that
Oh
first.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure a kid's challenging enough. That's a big enough focus to worry about.
Yeah, and that's a common. It's a common goal. We just want him to be happy and healthy, and a lot of our energy goes towards making that happen.
Awesome, man. Let's talk about some tats. So I'm a pretty
Sure.
big tattoo guy. I have, I have part of my chest done. I'm working on getting a sleeve here. Man, when'd you start getting inked up?
The first one was when I was 17. I got
Nice.
my last name in Old English letters, which is Zorzetto. So
Yeah.
shoulder, it goes from here to here on my back. Uh, After that, I had a friend pass away, and I got a tattoo, like a memorial one right here. And then I think I went here, and then I was like, I'm addicted.
Yeah,
Here we go. So yeah, I got like my whole arm here, and this
man.
arm as well, all the way, and then my my chest and my whole entire back.
Yeah, man, just like anything else in life, you go all out.
Yep, 100%.
So it looks like you're going all black and gray. You don't have any color, do you?
No color. The only color I like in a like the only color I would get is red. Like if
Yeah.
let's see if I can like okay, so this is like like a Spartan. So
Sick.
I would get his cape red if anything, but the red has a lot of metal in it, and I'm allergic to cheap
Really?
metal. I can only have like real gold, white gold, real silver, or surgical stainless steel. Other than that, if it's like zinc or copper or whatever, I get a rash. So like my belt buckles have to be like I put clear nail polish
Oh
on it.
man.
So it would never heal. Like if I had red, it would never heal. So I just went all black and gray.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah,
I'm going all black and gray as well. I don't know, man. I
good.
love the look. I
Looks
love the
good.
look of
It ages well.
yeah.
It's I think color has a like American classic. Those tattoos look
Mhm.
cool. It's not for me, but those tattoos look cool. But like colored sleeves and all that kind of stuff reminds me of like punk rock or like
Yeah, exactly.
skateboarding or something like that, which is totally like that's fucking awesome if that's what you're into. But for me, I just wasn't into it, so I went black and gray, semi
Yeah,
realism
man.
as well.
Yeah, man. Classy.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good
for
look.
sure. Yeah.
Sweet, man. So, I mean, we hit on some of the future goals, but like you personally, what are you working on right now? What can people be on the lookout for?
Right now, one of my main focuses is to get promoted in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. Just keep going
Yeah.
up the belts. Not only just that, but learning the skills that are needed to do that, and like put my time in. Like not that's one thing I love about Jiu Jitsu is everyone is the same. Like doesn't matter if you're rich or you're fat or you're broke or you're skinny or you're athletic, it doesn't matter. As long as when you're in, you're treated the same. You have to learn the same skills. You have to do the same reps and the same submissions and all that kind of stuff to graduate. So yeah, just getting promoted. Eventually, get my black belt. Years and years down the line. Aside from that, get my public speaking career, which I do on the side. I'd love to get that going and try to accumulate as many followers as I can. Not for a vain reasons, but so that people can either get inspired from me being homeless to where I am now, and as well as I can share good tools in the arena of addiction. If somebody has somebody that they love and care about that is addicted to, well, mostly just cocaine. I don't know how to talk about heroin. It's a different drug, and different people get addicted to that. My personality goes more towards the cocaine side of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just giving back that way, and just want to be a beacon of hope and motivation for people that can, that are addicted, or they don't have to be addicted. Even just someone who's depressed or in a rut or whatever. I'm just here to help in that way. Other projects would be what else I got going on. That's probably about it. Besides my construction business and public speaking, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and just gaining the Instagram reputability to
Yep.
helping people.
It's
Yeah,
awesome, man. Have a great cause going, so I'm excited to keep following along on it. When do you think
cool.
Connor's
Appreciate it.
gonna get back in the octagon?
Oh man, I don't know. I think it's really a cross between Well, it's up to Connor, it's up to the next fighter, and it's up to Dana White. So
Yep.
a super fight would be sweet. Like if McGregor fought Masvidal.
Oh man, that'd be fun.
That would break the internet. Like that
Oh.
would be crazy. But I wouldn't mind seeing a Floyd and McGregor boxing match.
Really? You want to see that again?
I wouldn't mind seeing it again because I think with enough time, I think McGregor would have a better chance against Floyd. Floyd's a seasoned vet. But if Connor could just focus on just boxing for, 7 months or 8 months or something like that, he'd be a fucking weapon. And then never mind if Floyd went MMA. Conor McGregor would probably break his arm or something.
He wouldn't make it out alive.
No, he'd fucking kill him. He doesn't know what a Kimura is. He'd find out.
No.
So, yeah.
That'd be an issue.
But I hope it's. I'd love to see him fight again. But I love watching his entrepreneurial venture as well. On August McGregor and his Proper 12. And McGregor Fast program. He's a pretty good beast of a entrepreneur as well.
Oh, he is. And Mac Life is huge on YouTube. I mean, they're like pushing 1 million subscribers, and geez, he's all over the place. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I tagged him in that art I got commissioned, but I don't think he saw it.
Hey, we'll keep tagging him in it. Get him to get some eyeballs on it.
100%. Yeah, man.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate your time. This interview's been amazing. So I'm excited for people to see it, and I'm glad we were able to connect.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. And side note, do we say A? Do we say that? Have you noticed?
I didn't notice you say it at all.
All right, cool. I hear it all the time. Someone from the States comes up here and they're like, "You guys say A and a boot." I'm like, all right, I don't know. I didn't notice. So I always ask an American when I meet one.
And, as polite as you seem to be, I don't think you said sorry at all. That's the other big one.
Yeah, we do say it a lot, though.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Like I say it all the time. I probably say it like 4 times a day. But it's not like a like, Brady, I'm really sorry. It's not like that.
Right.
It's sorry is like it's just like I don't know how to describe it. Like, let's say you hold the door for somebody and like you take a little too long, or I take a little too long. They may say like, "Oh, sorry about that," or like,
right.
I accidentally bump in. It's like, sorry. Yeah, it's like it doesn't mean like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." It's just like it's just kind of like a bow of respect, like saying hello.
Yes, just being polite.
Yeah, but it is a thing. It is a thing for sure. We say sorry all the fucking time.
So A is an incorrect stereotype, but being polite and saying sorry is accurate.
Yeah, that's accurate, and it's funny because it's accurate with even like insulting someone or in a fight, like in jiu-jitsu, for example, like you accidentally butt heads. You're literally in a fight, and someone butts heads on accident. It's like, "Oh, sorry, man, you good? Yeah, okay," and then you start fighting again. Like it's hilarious. Like we're adorable sometimes.
Man, that's hilarious. I'm glad we're able to get to the bottom of that. You can disprove that big myth.
Yeah, but don't fuck with hockey. That's probably that's where we draw the line. Don't fuck with hockey, and we're all okay.
Right, man. Have you been enjoying hockey's comeback with no fans? It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird, but we needed it. We needed to watch it. So you're in Missouri, right?
Yep.
Are you guys opening restaurants and stuff at a certain capacity, or?
Yeah, most restaurants are open to a certain extent. You just have to wear a mask when you walk in and take it off when you're 10 feet in, which seems stupid to me, but Yeah,
it's hilarious. It's the same here. So restaurants and bars are open, so it's nice because you can go there and watch the game. But yeah, having no fans is kind of odd, but at least the goal buzzer is on. So someone scores a goal, the horn gets blasted. So that's nice. Creates a little bit of excitement. So
yeah, I mean, if you're in a restaurant, you know, people are going nuts, so there might as well be
yep.
fans, you know, as far
Yeah.
as you're
Yeah.
concerned.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Again, I'm super glad we're able to connect, and I'm excited to follow along and see everything you're up to.
Yeah, I appreciate it big time, and thanks for reaching out and for your time. And if anyone who's listening and wants to follow at my Instagram is at Mr.Zorzetto, Zorzetto, and I'm talking about this kind of stuff. So
Awesome. Check the description. It's there. Give them a follow.
cool. All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.